It's Thursday night, so it must be Speedway Tavern. Speedway. But not for long. Only in Speedway. What's going on? Well, good evening, gentlemen. Welcome everybody to the Speedway Tavern. We've got in the studio tonight, we have Mr. Chris Webby, can't find the dials, Browne.
Good evening.
We have Matt on the mic, Buck.
Good evening.
And myself, GA or Michael or whatever other things you want to call me.
I've called you a few things.
Well, I think we caught you out there then, didn't we, Chris?
Yeah.
I did tell you it was going to be short.
That was very bloody
I
short.
said that to the missus the other night. Anyway. Hello, we got more music.
Ooh!
What's going on?
I'll just talk over it. It's gone out.
So, yeah, I guess the first thing we should start with is, well, we haven't been broadcasting for a few weeks.
No? Can you tell?
Yeah, for one reason or another. But the reason we didn't broadcast last week was a rather special reason, wasn't it, Chris?
There was a special reason.
Perhaps you could fill everybody in on that.
And if I remember it, I'm going to say straight away.
What was you doing last Thursday?
Last Thursday.
A very special awards night.
Oh, yes, that's right. Yeah, I forgot. Yeah.
Honestly.
Oh, yeah, one of our podcasts got nominated. It was a top 10, not nominated for a top 10 place in the UK. And that was our football show, Tilton Talk show.
And did you win?
We didn't win, no, but it was nice to get nominated. So.
Typical Blues, eh?
They build you up, don't they? That's the Blues, you say. Build you up and let you down at the last minute.
But well done. I mean, that's our little radio station and our little show.
Yeah.
It's something, isn't it? We're getting recognised nationally now.
Oh, crocky,
So,
yeah.
There you go.
We've got one of your friends coming in on Tuesday. Even you probably know who this guy is. Mr. Brian Little.
Mr. Brian Little on Tuesday.
Oh.
You mean on Monday?
No, Tuesday. Tuesday morning. Don't worry.
Phew, getting me confused now. Right, well, I should start with that, actually. It's a bit of a sad moment, isn't it, to have to tell everybody that the Speedway Tavern's no longer going to be broadcasting on Thursdays.
No, it's all over for Thursdays.
Yeah.
However, we are going to broadcast on Tuesdays instead.
Yes.
So there you go. So yeah, we're moving to Tuesdays for lots of different reasons. Which
Make sure you write it in your calendar, sir.
Yeah.
Don't you bang it on the door on Thursday night.
it's whether he's got his dials ready by Tuesday. It takes him all week to get them ready, you know. So.
You know me, I've always got my knobs ready.
So I've been told. Oh.
Right,
well,
this is fast descending into a farce. This is.
I'll change the habit of a lifetime. So, well, there's been a fair few things that's happened since we was last here. There's been a Grand Prix, won by Mr. Woffington. So
that's right.
That's hence the sickly grin on your face. Wolves have been throwing matches away.
Yeah, just a few. So.
As you knew there.
And of course, the most important thing, I guess, and most horrible thing that's happened is the injury to Mitchell Davey.
Absolutely.
It was a horrible night. I don't think I've ever been at a speedway track where it was so deathly quiet and you could palpably feel the atmosphere of, I don't know what the word is, dread, I don't know. It was a horrible accident.
I spoke to somebody after the meeting and they said it was reminiscent of the World Team Cup meeting when Gunderson had his accident at Bradford.
Right, yeah.
And that just the stadium just fell completely quiet when it happened.
Well, it was immediate, obvious that it was a very, very nasty accident. But, I mean, good things as well have come out of it. I mean, the Speedway family, again...
As united.
Unbelievable.
Absolutely.
Over 16,000
That's got to be worth a round of applause, that does, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't think he's awake.
Sorry, sorry, wrong one. I'll find it in a bit.
I'll find it in about an hour. So find it by Tuesday before.
16,400 was the last total I heard. That's just amazing. That's just amazing. And of course, it's horrible, but you have to sign other riders to replace them.
Yep.
And so JPB's come back, and he's going to be on the show about 8:15, thereabouts. So, if anybody's got any questions for JPB that we can ask him, then shove them on the shout box. In fact, would you like to tell everybody how they can contribute to the discussion tonight?
Okay, so if you're on Facebook, well, you found us.
Well, this is true.
There you go. Move on. Or you can go to www.srbradio.com and look for the chat box on there, and you can listen to us without even having to look at us, which
it's probably an advantage.
It's probably a good thing, yeah.
Yeah, it's preferable.
Yeah,
with
I have to sit opposite these every flipping week. So.
Yeah.
Anyway, we've got some matches on tonight. Ipswich versus Berwick's off.
Yep.
Do we know why that's off? It hasn't been raining.
I don't know. I presume it's rain. There has been forecast rain today. I think.
Okay.
There was forecast thunderstorms around here. I haven't seen
There has been some thunderstorms
Yeah,
about. So
so-
you could.
Yeah, just because I'm having a holiday.
Yeah. We've got Redcar versus Lakeside racing tonight. Sheffield versus Workington. That's going to be a tasty.
That should be a cracker. That should.
And Isle of Wight versus Kent, which probably won't be a cracker.
No.
Let's be honest about that. Shall we? We got some scores
Yeah,
to go on
Redcar
with.
15, Lakeside 9 is the score up there. So that's
Oh, I
switch it
love
off.
that tune.
Yeah, 15-9 after
He gets
4 heats at Redcar. So Redcar in a good start in that one.
Okay, yep.
Sheffield 19, Workington 17.
That's going to be
That's
a good.
good.
Match,
That's going to be one of the matches of the season, I think. And Workington were in front in the early stage of that matey, but Sheffield just is a 5-1 through Carl Howarth and Todd Kurtz to go 2 points in front in that one. So that one's going to go. I think that one could well go down to a last hit decided, to be honest, at Overton. And finally, on the Isle of Wight, not quite so close. It's the Isle of Wight 17, Kent 35. That's after 9 heats.
17:35.
Yeah.
What was we doing yesterday?
Throwing a few points away, I think it was.
Wasn't it?
It was.
Well, we'll have a chat with JPB about last night's match in a minute. But what's been going on at Wolves?
Well, at the moment, top of the table, along with Swindon. Season seems to be panning out as I thought it would, to be honest. Winning matches at home comfortably, and just picking up the odd point here and there away from home. Obviously, got a draw last night at Poole, although being 8 points up at one point, you probably argue Wolves should have won it. Similar to Rye House a few weeks ago, we were comfortably in front at there and ended up losing the meeting. Got a point at Leicester on Monday. Again, probably another meeting that we probably should have won. Rory Schlein had a poor night, which was disappointing because he's had a very good start to the season. But home wins against Somerset and Kings Lynn and Poole as well. So Wolves currently joint top with Swindon, although obviously a long way to go yet. Of course, Poole come to Monmore Green on Monday for the second time in the 90th anniversary meeting. Obviously, the first of the tracks celebrating the 90 years this year. Well, second after Bellevue, of course. But,
Yeah.
Talking
Talking of Bellevue, they've had some not so good results.
Yeah, they lost at home against Kings Lynn.
Kings Lynn.
Kings Lynn have had a decent start to the season. I mean, they've got closer to anybody than anybody else has at Monmore Green this season. And
Possibly the surprise of the season so far.
maybe a little bit, yeah. Somerset obviously doing okay as well. They're in fourth place at the moment, but Wolves, Swindon, Bellevue, Somerset, Leicester, I think where a lot of people strongly fancy them to win to push hard. They're currently just outside the top 4 at the moment. The favourites, of course, were Poole, and they're bottom. 9 points from 8 meetings. Not a good start for Poole, to be honest. And to be fair,
Can you take that smile off your face when you say that, please?
well, you do the same with it.
Yes.
The one thing I have to say, the one thing I did notice about Poole when they were at Monmore a few weeks ago, there didn't seem to be very much team spirit in the Poole camp. I know they've had problems, obviously, with Chris Holders still out the equation. I'm not completely convinced Chris Holders are going to ride the Poole this year. So, I mean, obviously they had Peter Kilderman at the start of the season. Now they've got Richie Worrell. And of course lost Stefan Nielsen last night due to a, I think, suspected broken leg, so we wish Stefan all the best, of course.
Of course.
So yeah, but that's how things are going in the Premiership. So far so good for Wolves. Be nice to get a few away wins under our belt, but steady progress, I think.
We've got a few comments coming up on the chat box for JPB, and we will. Mr. Neil Parkinson, we will ask JPB about that when he comes on, and Richard Hill, which I think is Richard Hall, because it changed all of a sudden, said a quick return for JPB. I see. How did he go? So I think you can ask him when he comes on. We'll ask him how he thought he went.
Yeah.
I thought he did quite well, actually.
Once he managed to get his machineries working,
once he got 4 laps in, he did pretty well.
You wouldn't have thought he hasn't been since October that he's been on the bike. I know he's done some practicing, but that's not the same as competitive action. Once he gets going, and obviously the circumstances behind him going into the team are obviously not ideal, but it's an opportunity for him to get his career back on track, I think.
Yeah, I mean, and it's nice to hear that he feels that he belongs with that red B on.
I think he was disappointed not to be in the team at the start of the season.
He wasn't the only one, was he?
I think so, yeah.
But then again, let's be honest about it. Mitchell Davies just been absolute. He just is absolutely brilliant.
Yeah.
And that would be, when you've got to choose between those two, that's a tough choice.
Absolutely, yeah.
That's a tough choice. But yeah, I mean,
should do a big shout out to Lee Kilby as well, shouldn't we? Really?
Well, I'll
Massive shout out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, I looked at his feet yesterday, and I was surprised to see them still attached to his legs, to be honest. But
okay, I want to know what you were doing that far down at his feet.
Yeah, yeah.
We love
that
you.
doesn't work very well on radio.
No, it doesn't. No. I've got a camera. Yeah.
I was wondering when he got to Swindon, did anybody tell him that he's got to do it the other way, in the other direction as well? Or?
I'll tell you something.
There was a bus
I
coming
can't tell you.
No, give full hats off to the guy.
Absolutely incredible. 72, 73 miles, was it?
I know.
I was watching him. I felt guilty for going to sleep that night. I was watching him as much as I could on Facebook because he put quite a few things that came across him. But I had to go to sleep at some point, and I felt really guilty and really bad about it. But he in fact, that should have a round of applause, really. I waited for him to leave the desk. Yeah.
I can't be asked.
He's got to get a drink as well. He hasn't
But also, people like Craig Cook.
Yeah.
Auctioning pit passes, and a member of Greg Hancock's team as well auctioned a pit pass for the Grand Prix at Cardiff, and they raised quite a lot of money with that as well. So, Speedway family, it's
going together and joining together and helping one of their own.
Yeah, absolutely brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
Can I just say it's a Speedway Tavern with no beer tonight?
Say that again, sorry.
It's a Speedway Tavern with no beer tonight.
I know. What? I don't know.
Somebody forgot to, or couldn't be asked to buy. I know.
Yeah. Well, so why didn't you?
Don't worry about me.
You don't have to do a lot.
I'm behind here grafting.
Already,
Yeah.
All I ask is one can of beer. And couldn't be bothered. Don't worry about it.
Okay, well, why don't you do some work and go and get JPB
I'm doing it now.
And while he's doing that, we'll have a little chat about the Grand Prix. You wouldn't have picked Ty Woffinen to win it after his first 2 rides.
No, you wouldn't.
He looked a little bit, I don't know what the word is, disinterested a little bit.
I wouldn't say disinterested. I think he just looked a bit off the pace, didn't he?
Yeah.
But no, he obviously came good at the end.
That was a great final.
It was a great final, really good. It was a good meeting, to be fair. There was some really good racing. Freddie Lingard, I thought, was probably the best rider on the night, but obviously missed out in the final, as did Artem Ligurta. I mean, he rode very well. He rode in the GP about 5 or 6 years ago, and I think he scored as many points in that whole season as he did in the first round this year. So he's shown that he's now ready for it, whereas he wasn't before. Chris Holder, I thought, rode well as well, considering he's not had a huge amount of meetings.
Yeah, I thought he looked more like Chris Holder of old.
Disappointing start to Jason Dawes' defence. He obviously started badly and never really recovered from that, to be honest.
It's that syndrome, isn't it? That target on your back. I mean, but one meeting doesn't make a world champion. However, I've got a question to ask you. I've got a couple of questions to ask you. Who won the Grand Prix?
Tyler Woofenden.
Who got the most points?
Freddie Lindgren.
That's a nonsense, isn't it?
It was probably more. In some ways, it was probably beneficial when the rider who won the final got double points rather than points, because then, by and large, they would finish top of the.
Who hasn't got any beer?
Top of the standings. He's not going to let you live that.
He's not, is he?
No.
Why is he picking on me? You're here as well. I mean,
Apparently, it's raining in Ipswich.
in Ipswich, yeah, I saw that.
Says Tomo. Thanks, Tomo.
Yeah, and Tomo said, "Glad you're all back, guys." And the reaction of the Brummies fans that night is to be commended. They were a classy bunch who know how to be respectful.
Classy?
I don't. Well,
Nah.
but Brummie's being called classy. Has that ever happened before?
No.
Sorry, I interrupted you there with those comments, but yeah, isn't that a nonsense? Because the most important thing about the season is to become world champion. Yeah. So, therefore, the most important result on that night wasn't the winner of the Grand Prix, but the one that scored the most points, because he's leading the world championship.
It's not ideal just to explain that to someone who's never watched Speedo before, is it? So
it never used to be like that,
yeah.
Because you used to get double points if you won the thing, and I think.
It's fair to say Craig Cook didn't enjoy the best of nights as a full-time.
No, he didn't. It's early days for him. It's a big learning curve for him, but he's doing well he's making himself be able to qualify again, even if he doesn't get in the top 8, because he's got through to the Grand Prix. Yeah.
And of course, Nicky Bedson struggled as well, but I think there were circumstances behind Nicky struggling with his injury.
He's been injured, hasn't he?
That's it. So
recently
I just wonder
again.
whether maybe Nicky's had one injury too many now. I was surprised he got a pick, if I'm honest, because he wasn't really doing a lot before he got injured last year either.
How did you think Greg did?
He was in the mix a little bit, but just fell short. I think he got 8 points, didn't he? So
he said he felt actually he's got the speed, and he was reassured by it. But
well, you're loath to write him off, aren't you? Because people have written him off before, and he's come back and
exactly. I'm not entirely sure. Would you like to?
He lost it years ago.
We're just trying to get JPB on the phone, and I think that's sorted now. So we'll come back to that in a bit, and then we'll also do the scores. But hopefully, fingers crossed, if all the technology works, it might not because he hasn't had his beer. We've got JPB on the phone. Are you there, Jack?
Hi guys, you alright?
Yeah, fantastic. Can actually hear him for once. Fantastic. Welcome back to the Brummies, mate.
Yeah, it's good to be back. It's really good to be back.
Sorry, can you say that again, Jack?
It's good to be back. I'm really looking forward to this season. Got a good bunch of guys. Team spirit's really good. And yeah, just looking forward to it overall, really.
And how do you feel the night went last night for you personally?
It started off very frustrating. We had a practice on Saturday at Scunthorpe. Everything went good, and just typical for the bikes to play up. But no, we got going in the end, and yeah, felt good. Felt quite comfortable on the bike. Got a really good reception from the crowd, which were really good. So yeah, it's just enjoyed it really. It was really good.
I think from reading some of the comments that you've made, you was, what's the word I'm looking for, disappointed that not to have been re-signed at the beginning of the season by Birmingham.
Yeah, we're a little bit disappointing, but I understand that David wanted to make a change, and yeah, I had to sacrifice that. So yeah, it's just one of them things, really. It's Speedway, and it's but yeah, I'm back, and it's really good to be back. And
was you aware via the different forums and whatever that actually a lot of the Birmingham fans were as equally disappointed as you that you wasn't returning at that point?
Yeah, it's good. It's good to see that, really. You know, that the fans are, you know, one of the favourites. So it's yeah, it's really good.
We've got a couple of questions that's turned up on the on Facebook. Actually, this is one by somebody called Neil Parkinson. So I'm guessing you might know who that is. He says, "Can I ask you if you can have the 30 quid back for the spark plug last night?" So, well, there you go.
Right.
Yeah, I think that's the best way to answer that one as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll have to have words with him for that one.
Oh, you can do that now if you want to, but
It's all right.
so
No,
are you
yeah.
looking forward to Sunday? I would imagine now.
Yeah, well, I'm not really going to think about it. It's just one of them things. Coventry have been pretty relaxed and understand what the reasons to what I did it. So yeah, I'm just going to class it as another meeting and just go and ride my bike and try and get dialed in again. Really.
And of course, we're going for the win. I would imagine.
Yeah, 100%.
I guess with the result that Coventry had at Cradley, that's sort of thrown the national trophy open a little bit and because obviously everybody was thinking that Cradley were probably going to win it because they've sort of got a fantasy speedway team a little bit, but that's sort of thrown it open a little bit, hasn't it?
Yeah, that's it. But everybody's there to do the best, and everybody's wanting to win that. So you don't know who's going to pop out in the end. Obviously, you didn't expect that to happen to Mitch, so you don't know what's around the corner. But just keep concentrating and take every meeting as it is, and yeah, see what happens.
Okay, and I would guess that. I mean, we don't. I'm trying to skirt around things here a little bit. We don't know, and nor are we going to try and find out the reasons behind why you resigned at the time that you did. But is everything okay now?
Yeah, everything's starting to pick up again. Just starting to get there now. I've got the baby. Baby's pretty much nearly here now. So really looking forward to it, and all positive vibes now. So yeah, really looking forward to it.
Brilliant, fantastic. And speaking personally, once we got past the Gremlins yesterday, it just looked like the old JPB was back again. Yeah,
well, the track's been pretty different as to what it was last year. I usually have quite a bit of dirt, but there wasn't that much dirt yesterday. And I'm really happy to get the best setup I've had for the Slick Birmingham, which I've always kind of struggled on. But I felt, good. I had Richard all in my corner. He works wonders every time he's with me, so he gets me going better than anybody else can. So it's really good to have him behind the scenes and working on it.
Fantastic. So, have you set any personal goals for this season now?
Not really, just to enjoy my racing, get my head down and just do as best as I can, and look back on the season at the end of it and see my progression really. And
hopefully another league title for the Brummies.
Yeah, definitely. That'd top it off really. We've got a really good team this year. Everybody, not just a top heavy team. It's quite an even team, and anybody could have that number one spot at some point in the season. So yeah, it's gonna be a good season, and it's really good.
I would say it was really good yesterday to see Callum Walker continuing the progress that he's been making.
Yeah, he's got a lot of potential, like I said, everybody has. But yeah, Callum's going really good at the minute. So yeah, just everybody's got to keep progressing. And when the sport's going good, it's going good. But when it's going bad, it's bad. But the better it is, when it's bad, the more you get through it, and the less you get your head down, the better rider you become out of it. So yeah, it's just what you've got to do really, is use your head and keep going.
Well, I'm gonna just finish this now with thank you so much for coming back. I've been watching you in the pits nearly every meeting since we started. You've been hanging around the pits and so on. I imagine there was quite a lot of frustration on your part that you wasn't racing.
Yeah, it's frustrating, but family comes first, and
Absolutely.
Just wanted to make sure everything were okay until I decided to commit again. And but yeah, it was really good. It was really hard to be watching everybody going out and racing, and me not. But to give me a kick into shape, if you like. And wanted to do it. And I managed to get that call up. Obviously, not on good terms with Mitch, but it was really good for me. And grab the bull by the horns, really.
I've got a couple of questions that have just appeared on the shout box for you from Tomo. Do we even know who Tomo is? It's Tomo.
It's Tomo.
Okay.
All right.
it's asked me to ask you, would you take a championship offer up this season, or are you just going to concentrate on National League?
Yeah, I'd like to. It's just I would really like to. Just got to wait and see if anything comes about, really. But yeah, I'd love to. It's just struggling really for sponsors and stuff lately.
Right.
So, but we're starting to get that kicked off again, and yeah.
Well, on that note, if anybody's interested in sponsoring you, what would be the best way for them to get in touch with you?
Through my website, it's just www.jackparkinsonblackburn.com. Go on there and click on my sponsor, and you should be able to do it. Or contact me or my granddad Neil Parkinson on Facebook.
And Chris, if you can put that last page back again, because there was another question on there. And I forgot my memory being what it is. Oh, yes. Tomo again. How is it having Tom Bacon as your new captain?
It's good. It's good to give Tom a chance. He hasn't been captain yet. And, yeah, it's good. He's good with the lads. Really good. So, everybody's helping each other and everything. So it doesn't matter who the captain is. Everybody wants to help each other and everybody wants to see each other winning races. So it's a good vibe. It's a really good vibe in the pits at the minute. So, yeah, it's really good.
I think we can see that even from the outside, the sort of camaraderie there is between the riders.
Almost like the accident with Mitchell Davies really even brought everyone closer together, hasn't it?
Possibly,
as horrible as it was. So.
Yeah, possibly. I think the best moment last night for me was when Aaron Butcher got his paid win with Danyon, and the reaction to that from everybody was just, it's like you say, the team spirit is brilliant.
Yeah, it's really good to see, when you've got a new up and coming rider whose confidence is lacking a little bit, and then you see him, get a good paid win or a good win, and you see his confidence go up another step. It's good. It's really good to watch, and yeah, it's good to be part of. Really, I've been there, and I've been learning off other people, and then when the tables turn and other people learning off you, and I'm still learning at the minute. Don't get me wrong, but it's good to help other people out as well.
And we've got a comment on our Facebook page from somebody you might know, Lawrence Rogers.
Yeah, Lawrence.
He said it was nice to have 5 riders all wanting Heat 15. So. Yeah,
that's it. That, like I said, everybody's got so much progression. That last Heat decider or the Heat 15, it could all go down to anybody really, and everybody's so enthusiastic and wanting to ride. It's really good to see.
Fantastic. Well, thank you once again, Jack, for giving us your time.
No problem.
I shall be there on Sunday. I'll be the loud one. So,
brilliant.
Yeah.
They're taking the mickey out of me now. I think I'm going to go. you take care, Jack, and see you on Sunday, mate.
Thanks very much, guys.
Thank you. Cheers. Bye.
Bye.
There we go. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to Sunday now. We'll talk about that in a minute. Let's go back to the Grand Prix. We was talking about the fact that the winner of the Grand Prix didn't score the most points, and I think that's another
bizarre.
Only in Speedway moment.
It is another only in Speedway moment.
So I think.
But at the end of the day, though, everybody knows the rules at the start of the season. So
of course, yeah, and you can't change it in the middle of the season.
Well,
I just think it's like you said, try to explain that to somebody that's not a Speedway fan. Don't try to. I think is the.
Just shows though that you've got to you can't afford any slip-ups at all.
Every ride is
every ride is absolutely crucial. Even if you're having a bad night and you go into your last race and you've got 2 points and can't qualify for the top 8, every point in the meet, every point you get if you can win the last race, then
they all add to your total at the end.
All add to your total at the end of the day. So that's right. So.
Yeah. So I mean, we was talking about Jason Dahl not possibly having a very good start, but those points that he scored might be the points that win him the World Championship at the end of the season. So you never know. You never know. Dave Edwards says, I think on Monday Wolves will win against Poole.
I think so. Yeah.
You hope so.
I hope so. Yeah. Well, I think so. Yeah. It's going to be. They've got a lot of things planned for Monday. Obviously, with it being the anniversary, so. That should be. It should be a good night. Obviously, it's a bank holiday as well. With hopefully continuing the weather we've got at the moment. It'll be.
Yeah, the weather's been unbelievable. Shall we have another look at the scores on the doors?
Why not? So we'll go to Redcar against Lakeside first of all. It was 15-9 the last time we looked. It's now still 15-9. So has there been a delay there?
Let's hope that, well, fingers crossed there's nobody injured, and if that's because that sounds.
Well, Ben Morley's had a accident in 85, went into the air fence and was flung in the air.
Ouch.
So when he had a nasty one, I don't know what happened in that last night, to be honest.
No, I don't know.
He
Know
just
what happened.
Looked like he just lost concentration, maybe a little bit. But he was the best rider on the
He was the best rider
on the night. He's had a good
night.
start of the season, so.
Sheffield versus Workington.
Well, that was 19-17 in favour of Sheffield the last time we looked. It's now Sheffield 29, Workington 31. I tell you what, Workington have had a good start to the season. They weren't highly fancied by many people.
And Sheffield not as good as perhaps they would have liked.
Maybe so, yeah, maybe so. But Workington, I think they were sort of dark horses at the start of the season. I thought they would be sort of mid to higher table, but they've had a very good start to the season at the moment there. But it's 29-31 at Sheffield, and I think they should just about be finished.
Kent.
Well, to be fair, it was probably finished about an hour ago, to be honest, of course. Isle of Wight missing Ben Morley because he's riding for Lakeside. It's 22-42 at the Isle of Wight with 4 more heats to go.
Wow.
So Kent are going to win that one.
Yes.
That's my prediction for the night.
I think you might be on safe ground with that one.
Yep.
So, okay, let's have a chat then about last night's meeting. Lots of predictions that we were going to it was going to be a cricket score for us.
Yeah.
Those predictions turned out to be, I mean, it was a comprehensive win in the end.
But Isle of Wight were quite stubborn in the early part of the meeting, although was it more Birmingham throwing a few points away?
Well, I think we did throw a few full points away, to be fair.
The obligatory fall from Lane Cubitt, of course, in the first one, so...
Yeah.
Obviously, JPB's 2 engine failures as well, so...
So it made it interesting, didn't it? But the racing in the first few heats perhaps wasn't the most scintillating I've ever seen.
When I got there, then I thought the track looks a bit wet to me. I don't know where's all this come from. Has there just been a cloud sitting over the track and it's been sunny everywhere else?
Well, of course, they needed to get water into the track, and they were severely curtailed. When we can do that.
What time
do they
do? What time are they able to do the
I actually don't know, but I know it's later than it used to be because they do go a greyhound meeting. I
need to get the water on really, ideally as early as possible, so it can bed in.
So yeah, I guess that's something that they will look at. It was a bit slippy and slidey. Well,
but
somebody fell off on the practice.
Yeah,
so.
We did see some good racing towards the end. I mean, Daniel Hume's pass on Ben Morley was absolutely tremendous.
That was the pass of the season. So very, very determined. There was no, I don't know how he did it because there wasn't room for a bike there.
No,
I think he half of it was on the
close
ground.
the eyes and up for the best. Was
it was. But it was interesting that in Heat 13. Daniel Hume tried pretty much the same, but Morley was ready for it, and he weren't letting him. He wasn't going to give him any room whatsoever.
Clever ride that was Ben Morley.
Yeah.
So.
Got a lot of time from him. He's very good rider. Very good rider.
Level-headed as well. Obviously, I've spoken to him before the meeting. He was very, very level-headed and a lot of confidence. I think it's benefited him actually going to the Isle of Wight because he's obviously ground up riding on smaller tracks. So. That's helped him develop as a rider even further this year because there's a bit of a difference between the Isle of Wight and Lakeside in terms of track size.
Okay, just going to answer this question that's come up. Tom, our last night's meeting, is there a problem with our track? I was told there is a big ditch on bends 1 to 2. No, there isn't.
I didn't see anything.
No, there isn't. I can tell you that categorically because I work
on the track
on the track on bend 1 as it happens. Yeah. So no, there's no ditch on there. No. There was nothing on the track that I've not seen on the track.
I think
before.
The track is better than it was last year, if I'm honest. Because I think the shell's different, isn't it? I think they've got new material.
Well, there's more of it. They put some on, basically. John was watering all day, but it was drying up so quick. That's from Lawrence Rogers. I mean, it was our track's notorious for drying quick, which is a good thing on some
Yeah.
days.
Good drainage, isn't it? Really,
Yeah,
very
yeah,
well.
so. And somebody said that Paul may have 2 different riders by Monday.
Yes, obviously Stefan Nielsen, they've got to replace him because he's only on 28 days.
Yeah.
So, but they've got problems, Paul, at the moment. They're obviously, I don't think they're going to get much sympathy from a lot of people, given how dominant they've been in recent years. So,
No.
but we shall see.
What do you think about moving Sam Masters to number 4 and Rory Schlesinger, whoever Schlesinger?
I thought that was a deodorant Schlesinger.
To whatever number he wanted to say and then didn't add it. So what do you think about, I presume you mean swapping them around?
Yeah. Interesting. I mean, Rory Schline's had a tremendous season so far. He's definitely got to grips with Mon McGree, and it's not always a track that he's done well at, but he's obviously riding it every week now, and had some good scores around there. Slightly disappointing performance at Leicester, as I say, but I think he obviously gives Wolves an advantage in heat 13 and presumably 15 as well, but definitely 13 at home. But again, it's about sort of trying to hit teams in those big heats away from home to try and I mean, Peter Adams made a pretty good point on Monday against Leicester that picking up these away points is absolutely crucial because you've always got to be on the guard for the slip up at home. Because if you slip up at home, then at least you've got some away points to fall back on.
Well, of course, Wolverhampton have an advantage, which is their track. I mean, there's no getting away from it.
Yeah.
It's not the easiest track. It's not. It's not by any stretch of the imagination the most difficult track but there is a trick to it, isn't there? It's a very sharp corner.
Yeah,
pointy corner. I think would be.
You've got to be clever riding the track, to be honest. I mean, Jakob Torsol's obviously mastered the art of riding Mon McGreen. He hasn't been so good as the number 1 away from home. But
right.
In fairness, is he a number 1? I'm not convinced he is.
Well, you did say that at the beginning of the season. But he's not done too bad, really.
Well, I mean, he had a fantastic season last year. Don't get me wrong, but he was riding a number 4.
Yeah.
So
well,
this sort of not hides, but has easier rides at number 4. So.
Yeah, it was Sam Masters to number 4 and Rory Schlein to number 5 that he was talking about. So, okay, we were supposed to be talking about last night's match, and as ever, we digressed. We've got some more Wolves stuff coming on here. So, Sam struggled in 13 most matches. Roy's confident in all races and looks for his partner.
Sam Masters sort of has good starts to the meeting and then fades a little bit towards the end. So, I think that's probably the main reason that they've been swapped over.
We've got Davy Craner, quick mention for how good Mildenhall have been this season. And yes, we'll talk about that now. But since you brought that up, this is obviously mainly a Birmingham show and mainly a Wolverhampton show because that's what we know. But we want to expand it more and more. So yes,
we do. Yeah,
bring on your comments from other teams and how you think they're doing.
National show.
Well, Mildenhall are probably the team to beat, I think.
Did you ever think you'd say that?
No, but I think that
I think it's great. Yeah.
They're a team they're very. I mean, Birmingham and Mildenhall are very similarly built. I think
that's right.
I think it's going to be an interesting nip and tuck season.
Bellevue are top at the moment. They've got quite a big lead, but they've had a lot more matches than anybody else.
Yeah. Go over the table for us. Actually,
yeah, Bellevue 11, Eastbourne 6, Coventry. They're a dark horses. They are Coventry because they look a decent team.
Well, they did a great thing against Cradley.
I know it's not a league match.
Of course, they didn't have Drew Kemp, but
Isle of Wight 4th. I can't see them staying that high. if I'm honest, Kent 5th, Mildenhall 6th. Although they've only had one meeting, of course. Birmingham 7th
with only one meeting.
That's right. Stoke 8th. Stoke were poor last week, weren't they?
Yes.
Very well. But I think they've got problems at Stoke all over, to be honest.
I think you're right.
Plymouth and Buxton. We haven't mentioned the white elephant in the room yet, have we? That's the visit to Buxton a few weeks ago.
Yeah,
so I was there. So
you was there, was you?
Yeah,
well, give us your. I mean, I've heard your father's take on it. What was your take on it?
It was the right decision.
Yeah,
it was the right. We got there, and as soon as we saw the track, it didn't look like it had anything on it at all. And I think it was Tom Woolley that did the the practice before the referee made the final decision to call it off, and he nearly came off of it on the track a couple of times. So yeah, 100% the right decision. I don't think, in fairness, they probably shouldn't have let people through the gates, because it was pretty clear that they were going to, if they were going to get the meeting.
Well, I think that's what a lot of the Brummies supporters' beef was.
Yeah,
really, that it wasn't.
I mean,
that it was obvious that it should have been called off and should have been called off earlier.
It was quite chilly as well, which it's
Buxton chilly.
Yeah,
surely not.
There's not really a lot of shelter there, is there? To be honest, so I mean, don't get me wrong, it's a lovely place. It's a really the surroundings of the place are really nice. It's very scenic trip up there, but you do need a coat, I think, when you go up there, even in the summer.
Yeah, I mean, I've only been there once, and I was well.
It's like on a slope,
chilly.
isn't it? It's the first time I've been there.
Yeah, it is. It's on a slope, yeah. And it's quite. It's actually quite funny seeing these riders get to bend one that have never been there before, and then suddenly realising they can't slow down because it's speeding up. Yeah. So that's, but which also then makes the decision perhaps even more crucial that they, because there is that element to Buxton as well.
Yeah.
Apparently, Josh Orty has been signed in place of Nielsen.
I hadn't seen that for Paul.
I presume so. That's Tomo. So perhaps if you could put on the chat box a little bit more meat to that story, Tomo, that would be great. And
I'll have a look on the SGB website. I haven't seen anything.
It's got to be true, Tomo said.
Of course it is. Of course it's got to be true. So we have got. I think Lawrence Rogers hopefully is still listening. I'm going to ask Lawrence if he can shove on the Facebook page there his prediction for Sunday, and then we'll see. Talking of predictions and so on, are we going to do that T-shirt thing?
We are, yes.
Brilliant. So can we start that?
I tell you what, yeah. I haven't got the shares with me at the moment for the last show, but we can
start
do
it from now.
We can do for next show because I've got all the shares. It's been about 30 shares so far. So.
Right. So if you can basically if you share on Facebook the stream, it's like buying a raffle ticket.
Yeah.
So each share is a raffle ticket, and that will go in a pot, and we'll pick that next week, and the winner will get a T-shirt.
It's a limited edition T-shirt as well, isn't it?
It's very limited edition.
So that will be next Tuesday.
I've got these.
I'm working with idiots.
Yeah. But we do it on the football show, and it's proved quite a popular competition. So we get some like 130 odd shares. It's pretty good.
Brilliant. Okay, I'm going to widen the topic now to social media and how Speedway doesn't use it properly. Would you agree?
Most definitely, yeah. Yeah.
And I will give you an example.
Well, in fairness, I think some clubs do. I think some clubs are using it better than others.
Okay. I'm going to give you an example of how they could use social media.
I'm all ears.
So, you imagine you've just brought out a film called Deadpool.
Yeah.
Deadpool 2. What do people? Do you see adverts on the television for Deadpool? Not much.
No.
Nope.
Hardly any. Where do you see adverts for?
On social media.
All over it.
Facebook, Twitter.
All over Facebook, all over Twitter. And so we have long bemoaned the fact, have we not, that there have been no adverts on the television for Speedway, which obviously in times gone by would have been the best way to get people to be aware of the fact that there's
the only
something
club that I
called
remember
Speedway.
doing that was Reading.
Right.
When BSI bought them in 2006, they did it for a year, and then
because we're always bemoaning this very basic fact that people don't know we exist. It's a secret sport. It just is, and it's frustrating.
It's going to stay a secret if you don't, unless you tell the people.
It's frustrating. But there isn't. But we can produce an advert, and I tell you what, we could produce an advert. You shove it all over Facebook and Twitter. You use your army of fans and tell them where to put these things, who to share them, to use them. All of a sudden, people are becoming aware, particularly if it's done every week, I just think that's just one example of,
Oh,
how you could use, your Twitters, your Facebooks, your Instagrams, your whatevers. Okay, watch this space.
I think Graham's got it hit it on the head, really. He says because many still can't understand how fax works, let alone FaceTime.
Yeah. Well, I think you do.
And of course, it's a generation thing as well, isn't it? You know?
So I think we do have to talk people through it.
Yeah.
We have to talk them through it and how to do it, and so that's, as I say, watch this space.
We're probably in the minority, being oldies, that can actually work this thing.
I can't work these things.
Oh, no, you can't. Not me. Yeah. Not if I leave it for a few weeks, I haven't got a clue.
I think, unfortunately, a lot of these clubs still operate by the mantra of throw the gates and open and open, people come.
Which would have worked in the era of when everybody bought a newspaper. I mean, you look at the coverage that we get, and Wolverhampton gets in the Evening Mail. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
But
the Birmingham Mail and the Express and Star, they do both.
I ask you a question: when was the last time you brought an Evening Mail or an Express and Star?
People don't
remember.
Yeah, exactly.
Either.
I can't remember either.
No.
People don't buy newspapers
buy.
anymore.
I mean,
very rarely.
the Starbridge Chronicle does a lot for Cradley, but that's posted through your letterbox every week, so it's not a paper that you would describe as having a big circulation.
I mean, if you wanted to get in a newspaper, there's only one newspaper to get into. And it's a newspaper that more people, I would imagine, read than any other newspaper, and that's the Metro.
Yeah.
But I read it because it's there.
I've never even seen Speedway mentioned in the Metro. Though.
No, I've never.
No.
I never have.
Well, we have the Solihull Times, and we've had it for years and years. And I can't remember ever actually reading it.
Great Bar Observer used to do quite a bit of Speedway, didn't they? I think
they still do, don't they?
That's, I think they do. Yeah.
I think they still
or
do.
Did they not pack up or something?
I know that. I know they were very active with Speedway in 2007.
Well, we used to get.
So.
Yeah, we used to get the interview. The captain used to have interviews and.
Yeah.
Lawrence wants you to discuss the social media ideas with Lee when you get a chance.
I've already spoke to him about the fact that I've got some ideas, so that's in the pipeline. Yeah, absolutely.
And Lawrence has hit it on the head regarding schools and things. That's really
and I've got some ideas.
We talked about this years and years and years and years ago, didn't we?
And I've got some ideas. Actually, why don't I throw this idea out now?
Get a bike in the school.
This is something I was going to talk to Lee about, and will talk to Lee about, but this is a very, very broad idea that I've got that needs finessing. But it basically goes like this. The problem with getting into secondary schools in particular is that they have to be very careful about who they let in. It has to be connected to the curriculum. If they get somebody in to give a talk or whatever, they have to show that in some way or another it's connected to the curriculum. So that's a hurdle that you have to get over.
Sport?
Okay, so my idea is this. Most secondary schools have a media department.
Yeah.
Not many that don't, because it's an easy subject to teach, I think, as much as anything. And the media department will include music.
Well, I studied it in college, so...
Yeah, you know... Why don't we offer... I think it's probably too late to do it this season, but so you'd need to be thinking about it for next season, but why don't we offer schools a competition for their media department? And the competition is for the school that designs the best overall advertising campaign across all the medias.
Yeah.
Obviously, the winning school would have to have some sort of prize. I imagine that's access to the pits or something. I don't know. That again, it's something that needs finessing. But what do you get out of that? Well, you get lots and lots of kids going out of their way to find out about Speedway.
Yeah, that's it.
To make it a part of their campaign.
Yeah.
It gets it into the schools. You make a part of it that part of the campaign, part of what you judge is when you go to the school, you're looking at posters and stuff that are around the school. So you're going to get posters about the Speedway, advertising Speedway around the school. And you might even get a decent free advertising video that you can. And part of the prize could be that it gets put onto our Facebook page and all of that.
Yeah.
So I don't know where. It's an idea.
It's an idea, but
I
don't think you want to complicate things.
No, well, it needs finessing. So
You know,
anyway,
you're prizing kids away from these little square things that's attached to their hands 24 hours a day, and it's difficult. It's got to be attached to that media, I think.
Right, we've got a few comments to. Wow, is that really the time?
Yep.
Wow, we've got some comments to go through on the Facebook page, so let's chuck these out. So Lawrence said that we are undertaking a big campaign of flyers at events and schools, etc. And I've got to say that what they did last night with the race with the kids and everything was brilliant.
Yeah,
it was fantastic.
It's a little bit unfair because some of them were bigger than others, but
it doesn't matter. Did you see their faces? Yeah. They loved being on the track.
That's it.
And that was fantastic. Well done, guys.
I don't think you should have been allowed to enter, mind you.
I'll come last as well. Anyway, Lawrence Rogers says we are having a promotional video produced. Brilliant.
Yep.
Brilliant. Can we go? Graham Darling says I have to give credit to Lee Kilby, who is one that can move the social media into Speedway.
Definitely.
And seems to do a great job.
Definitely.
Yeah. We'll talk a little bit about the Mitchell Davey thing again from a promotional point of view, which that was a big story, surely. Lee Kilby doing that. That was a big story.
Didn't feature on any of the local news, though, did it?
Didn't feature on any of the television or any, and shame on them. Really shame on them for something like that.
Yeah, but still managed to pull in a lot of money.
Laura Tong, I run the Brummies Instagram page. It's updated nearly every day. Yeah. But if there's anything else people want to see on there, let me know or Lee know. Would be great for some new ideas. Well, there you go, guys. Yeah. And share. And do you know what the most important thing I think is that I don't think enough people share.
No.
Just share it whenever you see
that's
something.
What social media is about. Sharing.
Yeah, share it. Whenever you see anything that says Birmingham Speedway, just click
not
like. Not
just Birmingham Speedway.
If you've got a comment, make a comment as well. Yeah. But keep sharing it.
All clubs, not just Birmingham Speedway. If you've got an Instagram link, put it up now. Or if you've got a Facebook link, put it up now.
Somebody was mentioning about do you think one of the main problems it's disappeared
I've got it
is the cost of going and lack of top riders that are seen on the little shown on TV?
It's fair if you don't know much about the sport, then you're not going to really know who the top riders are.
Well, that exactly. Well, I think for us old jaded people that look back with rose tinted glasses at what it could be, and speaking personally now, I am finding the National League to be becoming a little bit. Actually, I think the big problem for us with the National League is the fact that we can't have assets.
Yeah,
I think that's the big problem. That's what's made it pall a little bit more than anything. I think that is a real problem for clubs like us and Eastbourne and Lakeside. Probably why Lakeside
got
out. So I think that's something that needs to be sorted. Is it too much? It's a chicken and egg situation, isn't it? If more people turned up, they could put the price down. If they put the price down, more people would turn.
Yeah, I don't think the price isn't that bad, really.
Not for the National League.
For National League,
but you've got to cost in the actual night out. You know what I mean? Like, getting there, getting back, a drink, a pie. Yeah. If you've got 2 or 3 kids with you,
I'll turn it around. And
it's the same with football.
If the show is good enough, people will pay.
The other thing as well with bringing kids in is that unfortunately you do get the odd people who don't seem to be very happy when they see kids at Speedway because they think, well, they're ruining my enjoyment. But to me, that's just a bit of a selfish thing to do.
Yeah, I don't know. I have seen that before. I have experienced that before. And one of the problems with Speedway, and I imagine football has the same problem, is it's a very adult environment.
Yeah,
definitely. Yeah,
So, but I saw last night. I did my usual thing of going out and giving the rider tear-offs in the half term to some of the kids, and there was a father playing with his son, pretending they were on a speedway track, running round and round and round. And that's brilliant.
Yeah, great stuff.
That's enthusiasm. Graham says they can put the price down if you are not paying riders £3,000 a night. Employ the riders you can afford for £10, £12, for £10.12 a meeting. I think it means
10 to 12
£10 to
pounds,
£12 a point. I would presumably not £10 to £12 a meeting. I don't think I can necessarily agree. I understand where you're coming from, but in the light of what's just happened to Mitchell Daly, I don't think we pay them enough.
No, that's it.
Obviously, he's talking about at a higher, the Premiership,
Championship
level rather than the National League level. But you do. Well, you have to cut your cloth accordingly, I guess. Is the point?
Lawrence says regarding assets, watch this space.
We're watching because
Excited.
that is such a big thing. I've spoke to a lot of people about this, and that is such a massive, big thing. We've got Leon Flint riding for us under the old rules. He'd be our asset by now. Yeah.
It's
and okay, he probably wouldn't stop with us because his heart's probably going to be at Berwick, I would imagine.
It's more important as well for the lesser not being disrespectful, but the lesser clubs like the Buxtons. They can find a good young talent, bring him through, and then sell him on as a profit. That could keep them going for another 20 years.
Buxton made a career out of it, didn't they? So.
And they've done remarkably well to keep going, considering where the location. So,
in fact, that's what Greg Pop Newson. That's a mouthful.
Yeah.
Said clubs need assets as could keep some clubs afloat like Buxton and other teams, and that's exactly the point. Simon Lowbridge, wow, everybody's coming alive now.
I know, yeah.
I've always gone to Speedway and took my kids, but now no Freddie or Ty at Walls. My kids aren't interested at all. Without youngsters going and getting interested, there won't be much of a future in the sport, and that is very, very important.
Yeah, because you get to know the rides, and the next season they're not there.
Well, I've told this story before. 2007, we returned, and I took my kids to their first Speedway match, and they loved it, and they loved the season, and they was well into it. Second season came, and we had loads of disasters in 2008. We had 13 riders injured, which didn't help. But my oldest son's favourite rider was a guy by the name of Ben Powell. Now, okay, he went on to notorious things, but that was his favourite rider at the time, and he didn't return. In fact, I think only 2 riders returned, I think, that season from the season before. He was didn't go again.
That's the nature of the sport.
The thing that we've done well at Birmingham in the National League is we have kept a core of riders going through.
Yeah.
And I think that's brilliant, and we need that. But they're not our riders.
Should we quickly go through the scores before we finish?
Yes, I can't believe that's the time.
Yep. So the one heat to go at Sheffield is 43-41 in favour of the home side.
So that can go
anyway.
We
thought that was going to be a close one. It did really do the case. 25-23 is the score at Redcar in favour of the home side as well, but Ben Morley has withdrawn from the meeting after smash.
Oh well, that's fingers crossed.
Said he was sat up and talking to the doctors, so that's positive. And Isle of Wight 32, Kings Lynn 56, a fairly straightforward win there.
Did you mean Kent?
Kent. So what did I say?
You said Kings Lynn.
Yeah, sorry.
Isle
of Wight 32, Kings Lynn, Kent 56, sorry.
Right, well, thank you everybody for joining. Remember, tell everybody it's next Tuesday. We will be counting your shares up, and somebody's going to be picked out of the hat next week for a T-shirt, so listening for that. Thank you once again. See you Tuesday, and please, no more injuries.
Good night.
Good night.